Fellas, welcome back to Wise Men Company. Today we're going to have a versus video. We haven't done this in a while. And it is going to be the J-frame revolver versus the Beretta Pocket Pistol line. In this case, specifically the Tomcat. That's what you have before you. Why am I doing this versus in a time when comped pistols and aluminum frames and ported barrels are so popular? Well, because this is what I'm into right now. I honestly have a real fascination with like the cloak and dagger, deep concealment, pocket pistol type of equipment. And so let's talk about it. I figured this would be a good versus. These would be the two preferences I would have if I have to have a very covert handgun. So let's compare them and let's talk about it like we normally do, right? Now, the J-frame needs no introduction. Hell of a resume when you're talking about a J-frame. Has been carried covertly for a long time. Kind of a go-to. The Beretta Tomcat, kind of a curveball for some of you, I'm sure. I mean, this wouldn't be your first preference for a semi-auto pocket pistol, but the Beretta Tomcat specifically has been really great in my experience. First time I shot one was like 10 years ago. I was manager of a gunsmithing department, and I had to go test fire one, and I couldn't believe how easy these were to shoot, how accurate they were. I really didn't have high hopes for it, and these little guys just always perform, at least in my experience. Maybe some of you have a different experience, but again, these are the two I would choose when we're talking about like that cloak and dagger, tradecraft, clandestine carry type of deep concealment. So let's get into it. There's gonna be three different categories. First category is gonna be usability. How is it to shoot? How is it to carry? How well does it fill the role that we are talking about? Two, is it reliable? And then three, ballistics. Ballistics is going to be kind of different. We'll get to that in a second. Pistol ballistics are terrible, as you all know, when we compare them to rifle ballistics. Kind of splitting hairs when we're talking about pistol ballistics. So that's kind of be a little bit different, but I think it'll be fun. So let's start with usability. How are these guns to carry? How well do they fit the deep concealment role? Honestly, they're both great at that role. They both have a ton of aftermarket support, J-frame a little bit more, but both of these would be great covert deep concealment pocket pistols. The Beretta Tomcat, you could carry on ankle. J-frame, you could carry on ankle. You could carry them traditionally on the waistline. You could carry them both in a pocket, in a bag. Young people could use them. Old people could use them. The usability on both of these is fairly good. There's a lot of worse options out there, honestly, but one's got to be better. When we're talking about actually shooting the guns, I got to give it to the Tomcat. The Tomcat is incredibly easy to shoot. I talked about this in the intro. 32 ACP. You can find these in the Bobcats, I think, are 25 ACP. I don't think they make those anymore, but they also make a 22 long rifle version. Not my cup of tea, but these are very easy to shoot. Single, double action. The single action is very pleasant. I typically will carry this gun cocked and locked like so, and it's easily just flip down the safety and there's your trigger. Double action is brutal, but again, I carry this cocked and locked. Pleasant to shoot, very accurate. I can make hits all the way back to 20 yards with this little 32 ACP. No issues. J-frames. A lot of guys carrying J-frames. A lot of people shoot J-frames. You need to get some solid time behind them to be really proficient with them. And let's be honest, most people are going to shoot these double action. They're not going to shoot these single action. Yeah, you can get them with a hammer, but everyone's preference is going to be shrouded hammer, concealed hammer. They're not going to rock that hammer to the rear if they have one in the heat of the moment. They're going to run these double action only. And the trigger is going to be a hurdle for a lot of people. As you can see here, long, heavy, a lot can go wrong with your sight picture and where you're aiming from here to here. You take some serious time on the gun to get proficient with a J-frame. Depending on what caliber you choose, recoil is going to be stout. Even with this 22 Magnum, this 351C, recoil is still more or on par with this 32 ACP. Something to think about. So shootability, I got to give it to the Tomcat. Yeah, the Tomcat sights are almost non-existent, but they're usable. J-frames, only slightly better. As you can see, that high-vis white, but shootability-wise, the Tomcat, this is a breeze to shoot. It's comfortable in the hand. I typically shoot it one-handed because I shoot it better one-handed. I'm going to give shootability to the Tomcat. Capacity. When using these guns, you're going to get 7 in the magazine, 1 in the tube. For the Tomcat, yes, this does have the tip-up feature, so you can just run one right in the tube if you want to without running the slide. The J-frame. The best you're going to get with capacity is 8 rounds, but that's for the 22 long rifle version. This 22 mag version carries 7, so it's already -1 compared to the Tomcat. But most people are going to run the 38 special version, 357 mag version, which is 5 rounds in the gun. So it is less. I think that's important when we talk about these two and we compare them. I'd rather have more ammo. Always would rather have more ammo. And I think most of you can agree. More rounds, more opportunities. These ballistics in general are pretty terrible, so volume is going to help us. If we talk about capacity, we have to talk about reloading, and it's kind of a moot point because no one wants to have to reload these quickly in an emergency. I think some of you might gravitate towards the Bobcat because it's magazine fed, and those are typically easier to reload quickly. But in this case, I'm going to have to disagree with you. The Bobcat to reload is kind of a pain. It's not conducive for speed. The mag release is in the grip. It doesn't have last round. The slide doesn't lock to the rear on the last round, after the last round. The mag well is tiny. Trying to line this up quickly is a challenge. Although it is magazine fed, it's not conducive for speed. The J-frame with a little bit of practice and a speed loader or a strip, you can make short work of a reload. It's not going to set any land speed records, but this, I'm going to give it to the J-frame as far as reloading quickly. It's just a little easier to do, and if you practice a little bit, you can cut down the time, at least on par with the Bobcat. Which one is more sneaky? How about that for a question, huh? Which gun is more sneaky when we're talking about being covert? Yes, the Beretta Tomcat has a threaded barrel, 1/2x28, so I can put a suppressor on the end of here if I want to, and as you've seen the B-roll there, I shoot it plenty with a suppressor. It's tons of fun. It's not exactly Hollywood quiet. It's still pretty loud, but you can do it. It's an option. So it can be kind of a covert assassin's pistol, for lack of a better term, as dumb as that sounds, but it's really not practical. Am I ever going to carry this gun around with a suppressor on it in my pants? No, I'm never going to do that. I might carry it around with a suppressor nearby, but I just can't see practically employing this with a suppressor on it. So there's that. The J-frame, although loud, and you cannot put a suppressor on it, does have a feature that lends itself to be a little bit more sneaky than the Bobcat, and that's the fact that it can retain those spent casings. You're not going to just be ejecting them all over the place. You will retain those casings until the user decides to trash them or get rid of them or reload them or do whatever they do with them. So as far as, being covert, retaining evidence, I think the J-frame actually has a little bit of a leg up on the Bobcat. Okay, reliability is the next category. I'm sure there's somebody already typing in the comments section that the J-frame or revolvers in general are the most reliable firearms to ever be created. And I don't really share that experience at all. To be honest, I just sent a J-frame back to Smith and Wesson because the frame was cracking. It had a low round count on it. I only ever fired factory ammunition through the gun. The gun was great, but it was just starting to crack in half with very few rounds. Smith and Wesson's taking care of it. But as I shot it, I could see that crack getting progressively bigger, so I had to send it back. In addition to that, I've also experienced other malfunctions. Stuff getting into the cylinder, prohibiting it from moving, locking it up, casings not falling free. or swelling up inside of the cylinder. I had to poke them out with a rod or something like that. Not a huge issue, only if I needed to speed reload or get ammunition in the gun quickly, but it is a pain. It's not exactly foolproof. It's not a foolproof gun. Everything is susceptible to a malfunction. Beretta Bobcat also experienced malfunctions, but only when my fat fingers were in the way. So when my grip, my traditional grip, would impede the slide, I would get malfunctions. If I shoot it one-handed or I'm very conscious of where my hands land, this gun is flawless. I've shot a variety of ammunition through it, FMJs, hollow points, different brands, and it has worked great. Suppressed, unsuppressed, obviously, and it has been very reliable, except when I impeded it. So reliability, both are good, and that's important. But like any piece of equipment, it can break, it can fall apart. Third and final category, we're going to talk about ballistics. And I'm going to leave this category completely up to the comment section. Lord help us, against my better judgment. But I'd like to know from you guys which one you'd choose and in which caliber you would choose and why. Here's the deal. Both of these come in different calibers. This line comes in different calibers. The Beretta here comes in 22 long rifle, 25 ACP if you can find one, and 32 ACP. The J-frame comes in a multitude of calibers, everything from 22 long rifle up to 357 Magnum. Pistol ballistics across the board are pretty terrible. That's why capacity is so important with handguns. So I want to know from you guys what your preference would be, which one you would choose. If you guys want some great data on these types of handguns and their calibers, I would go over to Lucky Gunner. Lucky Gunner has a few videos where they do some ballistic testing with everything from 22 long rifle up to 38 special out of these pocket pistols, out of these deep concealment guns. It's really good information. It's obviously not concrete, but it gives you a really good perspective about the ballistics from these types of handguns. I don't think it can be solved on the internet, and I don't think it ever will be solved on the internet, but I would like to talk with you guys about it. So get down in the comments, which model, what caliber, and why. So that's the ballistics section. I'm leaving it up to you guys. Don't let me down. In conclusion, and what you should take away from this video is, if you have the ability to carry a compact to full-size handgun, you should do so. This shouldn't be a priority for you. Yes, we like to talk about it. Yes, we like to compare it. It does fill a role when you can't carry a compact or full-size fighting handgun. But I would prioritize the gun that you're going to train with frequently, carry often, and you enjoy shooting. These are very niche, and like I said, it's just something I'm into right now, but I don't want it to get twisted. You should prioritize a normal size, larger capacity handgun over these. But for this video, we have to choose one. At least I have to choose one. And I'm gonna go with the Bobcat. I really like this gun. I shoot it the best, and that's why I'm choosing it. I can shoot it far, follow-up shots are easy, recoil's low, I get a little bit more capacity. I own both of them, but the preference would definitely be the Bobcat. The threaded barrel doesn't really do much for me. Yeah, it's fun, it's definitely cool. But as far as like using this, putting it in a roll, this is easy to do. Not saying that's bad, the J-frame's bad. The Bobcat is just, again, I shoot it the best, so I want the gun that I can shoot the best. And that being said, I'm gonna go with the Beretta for today's video. So let me know down below what you guys think, which one you would choose. Again, which one you choose, what caliber, why. I definitely want to hear why. And I want to talk with you guys about it in the comments. Fellas, thank you for watching this video. I always appreciate you guys watching. I appreciate you hitting that like button. I appreciate all our subscribers. I really appreciate those comments because I seriously do like talking with you guys down there in those comments. Some of them aren't great. The internet and YouTube is toxic, so you gotta watch out for some of that stuff. But the majority of you, I really enjoy conversing with down in the comments, even if we disagree. If you want to support us, go to wisemancompany.com. That's the best way to support us. We have a ton of great gear over there. We do not get any money from Beretta or Smith and Wesson or any company to make these types of videos. This is just stuff I'm interested in that I want to share with you guys. All the support comes directly from wisemancompany.com. If there's something over there that brings you value, please, we'd really appreciate it if you purchased it from us. If there's nothing over there that brings you value, don't get anything. Seriously, don't waste your money with us if you don't find value with us. Go over to wisemancompany.com. Thank you for watching this video. We'll see you on the next one.